Fourth and finally, let's talk about technology as a replacement. One of the biggest ways that technology can transform work is by eliminating the need for workers altogether. I should mention here that I'm from Detroit, and you only need to look at the post-industrial Midwest to see the extent to which technology replaced workers. Previously, we could see assembly lines with large number of workers being employed, and to have those workers be diminished, the numbers of them be diminished. But as a result of this technology, productivity and efficiency went up, while at the same time, the number of workers went down. And workers had to go someplace else. And in Detroit during the 1980s, we did see a large migration of people from Michigan to other parts of the country in search of work, or leaving the auto industry altogether to find other kinds of employment because they were no longer needed on the assembly line. And that's one example in manufacturing. But we can see today the impact of technology in terms of replacing workers in other areas. We can see actors right now on picket lines striking over the use of their image in media productions. The technology exists to scan people, to scan their faces, to scan their bodies, and to put them in roles that don't require them physically to show up for. As a result of this, actors are understandably concerned that their image and likeness can be used with no compensation, that they are now basically superfluous. And this is transforming work because they are being replaced potentially by this technology. It is inevitable that new technology will replace workers to some extent in terms of how many are needed. This is one of the reasons for the story of the Luddites smashing the looms, because the looms were replacing them in terms of creating textiles. When the use of new technology is at the point of replacing workers, this dynamic can speak to a larger relationship between employer and worker, as well as employer and customer. Because as workers get replaced in more areas that goes beyond manufacturing, when technology exists to replace workers in service, customers are going to be impacted as well, and so will customer experience. For instance, when automatic teller machines were first being deployed, there was some attempts by some financial institutions, some banks, to charge their customers a premium to use human tellers. The goal was to reduce the need for tellers because of the machines. The banks wanted to push customers to use the automatic tellers and use human tellers to reduce the need to employ as many tellers. Walmart and other retailers are nearly doing away with cashiers, having customers do the work of scanning and bagging their groceries or whatever products they're buying. Fast food establishments are experimenting with nearly completely automated ordering, making, and delivery. You can go through drive-thrus for McDonald's or Taco Bell in some locations and not interact with a person at all. Everything is automated. Now, there have been varying levels of success in these rollouts, but safe to say, as the technology gets better, we're likely to see fewer workers working in fast food. Making customers do more of the work because there are fewer employees and more technology is not necessarily for customer convenience or customer experience. It's primarily for increasing the company's profit margins. And so if we're looking for help with our computers or our cable service or our cell phone service or whatever, and we're in an automated system, that's potentially a person that was replaced. And if you think about how well or not well that system responds to your needs, the growing frustration that customers might have with these automated systems, we can tell that it's not just about customer experience here, it's about financial gain and financial incentive. The ultimate impact of all of this on employee experience and on society is yet to be fully known. But there is an interesting article in the MIT Review that lays out this historical arc and the contemporary impact as well as the potential future impact. In looking at this article, the analysis isn't necessarily new or unique in terms of how it looks at the past and how it's looking at the present. But it does raise some interesting questions about the future. When human labor becomes less necessary, do we need a type of universal basic income or UBI? Is the technology meant to replace work or elevate that work by removing mundane and routinized tasks from a person's to-do list? If you could be freed from all the routine things that you have to do, would that allow you to do higher level things that you would like to be spending more time doing? So as a result of all of this, it's not just work that's changed through technology when technology replaces workers, but society itself has changed. People, generally speaking, need jobs in order to earn wages so that they can spend those wages on essential and non-essential things. That's how the economy operates. People need money to be able to spend money to buy things that were made that leads to companies making money, and they can in return, ideally, hopefully, employ people. But if they're not employing people, they're just using technology, there's a problem in that economic cycle. When those wages evaporate because technology replaces those workers, then that's going to inevitably have an impact on society. The extent of that impact, the scope of that impact remains to be seen, but we can see that technology will have an impact on society through its impact on the workplace.